Here we're going to be looking at proportional and non-proportional relationships, as you can see right there. Proportional means they're equal, okay? They not necessarily equal in value, but they increment or they increase at equal rates, okay? And non-proportional means they don't, okay? That they don't have that balanced increment, okay, as a proportional relationship would. Now, what I mean by that is, I want you to take a look here at the first example where we're talking about pizzas. And essentially what they're saying is that each pizza costs $8. So one pizza would be $8. How much would it be for two pizzas? And 3, and 4, and 5. So really what you're looking at is the multiplication table of 8, right? 8 times 1, 8 times 2, 8 times 3, and so on. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. But then we're going to go from this table and changing it into a fraction so that we can solve for the unit rate, the price of one pizza. So going backwards. So I could say, for example, I paid $40 for 5 pizzas. How much is it for one pizza? That's where you would have to find the unit rate, as we've done in class. Okay, let's get started. All right, Miss Cochran is planning a year-end pizza party for her students. Ace Pizza offers free delivery and charges $8 per medium pizza. Complete the table to determine the cost for different numbers of pizza. So the cost of pizza is $8 for one. How much is it for 2 pizzas? How much is it for 3? How much is it for 4 pizzas? And how much is it for 5? So really, every time you have to increase $8 more to the cost. Pause the video and go ahead and fill this out. Make sure you pause the video now, please. Pause it now. And there you have it. So as you can see, it increases by 8 every time. 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 8 times 3 is 24, 8 times 4 is 32, and 8 times 5 is 40. So the cost of 5 medium pizzas will be $40. Number 2. For each number of pizzas, fill in the boxes to write the relationship of the cost and number of pizzas as a ratio in simplest form. So here we have $16 for 2 pizzas. How much would it be for one? Here we paid $24 for 3 pizzas. Now we have to simplify it. Simplify the 3 into a 1. And as you know, whatever we did to the bottom, we must do to the top. So I took the 3 and I divided it by 3 to get 1. You must take the 24 and also divide it by 3. So whenever you're working with equivalent fractions, whatever you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. If you divide this by 3, you divide this by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So knowing this pattern, what number goes at the bottom? Here I have $32. How many pizzas can I get with $32? Well, we know that each pizza costs $8. So 32 divided by 8 will give you 4. Right? Because this is the amount of dollars and we're dividing it into the price of each pizza so that we know how many pizzas are in $32. So $32 will give you 4 pizzas. Okay, let's bring that down to the unit rate. We have to get this down to a 1, we must divide it by 4. So we must divide this by 4. Whatever you do to the bottom, you must do to the top, or whatever you do to the top, you must do to the bottom. The reason we're dividing the bottom by 4 is because we want to bring it down to 1, to the unit rate. So there's our 1. And then 32 divided by 4 is 8. And as you can see, we are continuing with the same pattern. Okay? Now let's see. How much is it going to cost me for 5 pizzas? I have 5 pizzas. How much will it cost me? Well, 5, and each pizza is $8, so 5 times 8 equals, and then reduce that to the unit rate. Please pause now and try this one all on your own, and then check my answer. Pause now. And there you have it. Okay, it's $40 for 5 pizzas. Again, the same rate. It would be 1 pizza is $8. And there you have your unit rates, the price of 1 pizza. What do you notice about the simplified ratios? What do you notice about all the simplified ratios? I noticed two things. I noticed that ratios are equal. They're all equal. They're all the same. And each ratio is equal to 8. That means each pizza is equal to $8. This is $8, this is 8, this is 8, and this is 8. They all give you 8. When you divide 16 by 2 is 8. 24 by 3 is 8. 32 divided by 4 is 8. And 40 divided by 5 is 8. For page 34, we're going to look at this table first, and we see earnings and we see per hour. So this person is making $18 per hour. In 1 hour, they make $18. In 2 hours, they make $36. In 3 hours, $54. In 4 hours, $72. That means it's going up by $18 each time. So we're simply counting up by 18. Okay, 18 times 1 is 18, 18 times 2 is 36, and so on. Okay, so pretty much the same idea. Let's take a look at the question. At Lakeview Middle School, there are 2 homeroom teachers. And these 2 homeroom teachers are assigned to every 48 students. Okay, 2 homeroom teachers, 48 students. Is the number of students at this school proportional to the number of teachers? Explain your reasoning. Well, boys and girls, if I were to break 48 into 2, because that way we take all the students and we divide it into the 2 teachers, would I get a proportional number? Proportional, meaning would it be equal? Well, let's see. If I have 48 students for every 2 teachers, when I bring it down to 1 teacher, it's going to give me 24, because 24 plus 24 is 48. So it is proportional. It means each teacher has the exact same number of students. So it is proportional. Now, I would like you, instead of, you could write yes right here, right? Because that is our answer. But right here, put a star, and I want you to write this following sentence. The ratio of students to teacher is constant. What we mean by constant is that, imagine if we had 3 teachers. This number would go up by another 24 to 72. The ratio is 24 to 1, or you could just simply say 24 because 24 divided by 1 is 24. Since the ratio is constant, the number of students is proportional to the number of teachers. It's proportional, boys and girls. Each teacher gets the exact same amount. Please write this down right there, right under your question. This is a key answer. Okay, turn to page 35, and let's answer the question B at the bottom of the page. At the beginning of the year, Isabel had $120 in her bank account. Each week, she deposits another $20. Is her account balance proportional to the number of weeks of deposits? Use the table below. Explain your reasoning. Well, we're starting with 120. We're not starting with 0. And we're adding $20 each week. So in the first week, she's going to deposit $20 to this amount. So in the first week, she's not even going to have $120. She's going to have 120 plus 20. Now for the second week, she has to add another $20, and the third week another $20. So 140 plus 20 is 160, and now another $20 for the third week. It's 180. So now let's look at the question. Is her account balance proportional to the number of weeks deposited? Well, she has been depositing for 3 weeks, consistently $20. So she should have $60. But we actually have 180. So is it proportional? Does she have $60? No. So it is not proportional. The reason it's not proportional is because she started off with 120. Your answer is no, right here. And let's add a 1-sentence explanation right at the bottom here, okay? The answer is no, because she started with $120 rather than $0. If she would have started with $0, boys and girls, it would be proportional. It would be 20, 40, and 60, which 60 makes sense because it's $20 a week, but it's not. We're at 180, so it's not proportional. The weeks to account balance ratio are not equal. See, it says 180. Why would we have $180 after only deposited $20 for 3 weeks consistently? It's not proportional. This tells us, boys and girls, that she's been depositing $60 a week, and it's not true. It's only $20. So therefore, no. Okay, now I'd like to do the guided practice together on page 36, and you will do pages 37 and 38 on your own, which will be essentially what we're going to do right now, okay? And then ask me in class any questions that you have from pages 37 and 38. Okay, let's do 1, 2, and 3. The Vista Marina rents boats for $25 per hour. There's our rental time per hour, okay? In addition to the rental fee, there is a $12 charge for fuel. So in addition to the rental hour, there's going to be an additional $12. Use a table to determine if the number of hours you rent the boat is proportional to the total cost. So essentially what we're looking at is $25, right, per hour, $25 for the first hour plus $12 for fuel every time, okay? There's just going to be a $12 charge in total for the fuel. Okay, so $25 times 1 plus the fuel. So for the first line, we have 1 hour, right? And how much is it going to cost? Well, 25 times 1 is 25, plus 12 is 37. So the first hour is going to cost us $37. What about the second hour and the third hour? Well, the second hour will be, again, $25 an hour for 2 hours plus $12. 25 times 2 is 50, plus 12 is 62. Right? 62. And let's do the third hour. 25 times 3 hours plus 12. Okay, let's do the math again. $25 for 3 hours is $75, plus 12 is $87. I don't really see much of a pattern here when I look for proportionality. Okay, we have 1 to 37, then 2 times 60 for 67, and 3 for 87. It's really not proportional. If I were to draw these as ratios or even equivalent fractions, they would not be equivalent simply because we have this factor that we're adding on that is throwing off the proportionality. So our question is, we have to check if they are proportional. Is it proportional? No. The cost to time ratios are not proportional. They're not equal. Question 2. Okay, here we're going to look at 2 tables and we're going to compare them. Which situation represents a proportional relationship between the hours worked and the amount earned for Matt and Jane? Explain. Okay, Matt's earnings and time. He makes, in 1 hour, he makes $12. If he makes $12 in 1 hour, I'm assuming that in 2 hours, he will make 24. But no, he doesn't. He only makes 20. So he's really not making $12 an hour. And then in 3 hours, if this were true, he should be making $36 an hour, right? Because 3 times 12 is 36. But it says here at 3 hours, he's only making 31. This, boys and girls, is not proportional. Let's look at Jane's. Jane in 1 hour makes $12. In 2 hours makes $24, and in 3 hours makes $36. Jane looks like it's making $12 for every hour. The table for Jane's earnings shows a proportional relationship. The ratio between the money earned and the time worked is always 12. Please put a star right there and right there. And finally, do we really understand what proportional means? Explain what makes 2 quantities proportional. Proportional relationships have constant ratios. Okay, they're constant. They go up in the same increments. While non